White light. Is this heaven? God? What's going on? As I slowly open my eyes, a bright white light assaults my retinas. For minutes, I just lay where I am, mindlessly staring ahead while my scattered thoughts, whatever. My thoughts come to me in my slowly waking mind. Slowly but surely, the white begins to come into focus as a bare expanse begins to be drawn across my field of vision. Is that the moon? God, is that you? It's only when the light fixture comes into view that my mind clicks that this is the ceiling above me. Oh, not a ceiling. I'm in the hospital. Dang it, I'm not in heaven. I'm in hell again. The hospital. Slowly levering myself up, I silently absorb through all my senses the details of the room I'm in. The smell and taste of strong bleach hangs in the air, lending the impression of a place just slightly too clean to be natural. Inoffensive, pale peach-colored walls are perfectly painted without a crack, stain, or imperfection. A single framed picture hanging on the wall of a cat hanging from a branch. Hang in there, kitty. Perfectly straightened, like the walls, it's as boring and inoffensive as can be. My attention's grabbed by the translucent curtains waving across my vision, my eyes following it as the open window it covers. When I move my right arm and try to lift myself up, I look through it. I feel the catheter dig in uncomfortably. It's only now too that I notice the cannula tubes winding around my cheeks, around my nose. After some fidgeting, I settle for just looking around the corner of the window. So, this is my life. Again, in the hospital, looking out a window. And with Lilly gone. Beyond the thick leaves of several large trees, I can see the greenery below. Backing out onto a field, a customary island of green on the outskirts of the city. Judging by the sun outside, it's noon. Of which day, though? I'm not sure. So, I'm in a hospital. Once again. I let out a long, tired breath as I try to collect my scattered thoughts, my mind slightly cast in a dozen directions, all at once, with as many emotions running through me. After slowly lying back down, I decided to start at the beginning. Why I'm here. I'm here because my heart can't take it! It's weak. I can't even go after the girl that I want. I cast my mind back to... but I can't work out a smooth recollection of what happened. The events of last night, or whichever night it was, come back more as a series of snapshots than any cohesive memory. The origami that gave me the information. Lying in my bed, looking at the origami bird. Talking to Hideki outside the Hakamichi residence. Running down the street, passing pedestrians and bumping into more and more of them. Falling. And then seeing Lilly that one last time. It gets us. Looking up at a searing bright airport entrance, seeing Lilly's back as I lay on the ground. Ellipses. The silence of the private room suddenly feels overwhelming. So that's it. I had my chance to correct my mistake, and I blew it! Whatever it was, the fault of negligence neglecting my medication and disregarding to pace myself, or my body for giving out so soon. It doesn't matter now. All that matters is that, once again, I'm alone. And you don't ever want to be alone. Being alone is lonely. The placid blue pillow yields with little resistance as I let myself fall back onto the bed. Its starchy case, along with the starchy sheets, providing little comfort. Maybe I should just disconnect all this stuff and just let myself die. Probably be best. Compared to the darkness of last night's events, the bright light of the room around me is striking. All it does, though, is emphasize how unworldly places like this are. Arrhythmia. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition that causes the heart to act irregularly and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. It was a miracle that you were able to go on so long without anything happening, they said. And then it did. My condition that had taken away everything. My old school was of no importance anymore. My home was reduced to a faraway place. Both my friends and my first love simply stopped visiting me after a length of time. I became cynical and embittered, distant and subdued. In my defense, no person could avoid that after such a thing happening to me. But nevertheless, I left the hospital as a very definitely changed person. Things change. I made new friends in Hanako, Shizune, and Misha. I found a new sense of home in my dormitory. And even Kenji was there! To be my rock! My male rock! A new interest in science and the world around me. And I found a direction to my life that I'd never felt before. But I'd also discovered other things. The sense of isolation in Yamaku and its surrounds was not entirely unwelcome. The quiet giving a peace of mind I might not have found elsewhere. But it gave the area a feeling of being pushed out of the way, of being kept out of sight. People in the streets would sometimes glance awkwardly or continually turn their heads as they realized they were staring. Even if my condition wasn't visible, my uniform was. Even if it weren't, I was still different. I took 17 pills a day, morning, midday, and night. My scar, though hidden behind my clothing, is still a permanent mark of my condition. And most of all, there was a very real possibility of death. A bad fall. A absent-minded hard hit on the back. A simple sprint taken too far. Anything could have set my heart off. And several times I teetered on the edge of the abyss, even with all the care I took for myself. But that was fine. I could have lived with all that. Because there was one final thing I had found, or rather refound after entering Yamaku, which was once again snatched away before my eyes. Love. My heart has taken everything from me! It's only now that I realize just how delicate my newfound sense of happiness was. Everything depended on her. The linchpin in my life since I first entered Yamaku was a sullen, confused, and aimless transfer student. Lilly Satao was the one person I could depend upon above all others, and who incorporated the love that I felt for her. But I failed her. I only realized it all too late. I thought that I could just set my life up and continue that way forever. But the real world doesn't work like that. And it doesn't like it either. I finally realized the meaning of those words, only to be struck down as I confronted my failure to do so in time. The surroundings I'm in now are all too familiar. It's as if Yamaku had been a dream, and I'm still recovering from my first major heart attack. Maybe it was a dream. That'd be too sad. That'd be too sad. Maybe that's why I feel so tired. It feels almost like I've lived the entire last few months of my life in the space of minutes. I'm just gonna go to sleep now. The weight of my eyelids closes my eyes, my physical and mental exhaustion letting me offer no resistance. Untangible mumbling from ahead of my bed stirs me out of my sleep. With my eyes still closed, I can focus and make out someone, presumably a nurse, bidding farewell to a doctor. "What do you want, Doc? Just let me die." As I open my eyes, I notice the door closing in my peripheral vision. The doctor stands, reading some notes off a clipboard held in his hand, carefully looking over the pages. After consulting his obviously very important documents, he looks up and notices my gaze. And now that I notice something slightly odd about his expression and general disposition, I can't quite put my finger on it. "Ah, I see you're awake, Mr. Nikkei." "Yes, I'm awake. Am I not supposed to be?" He quickly glances to my bed's end and verify my name, shown that his documents obviously didn't have it written on them. "I must admit, this is a bit unfortunate. Your parents visited earlier, just earlier while you were asleep. I can notify them you're awake now if you'd like." Thanks. That'd be good. I mean, they're the only people left that really care about me. I give a somewhat dazed reply, most likely the one he'd expect, before really thinking about what I'm saying. "Not a problem. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, I'll be happy to answer them. That is, unless you prefer to rest, the anesthetic still going to be affecting you a bit, I'm afraid." The anesthetic? Of course. That must be why I felt so strange the first time I woke up, because I want me to sleep. I slowly shook my head, not wanting to dislodge any pieces of cue or cause myself any more discomfort than necessary. The doctor politely puts down his clipboard in response. I guess my main question is, what exactly happened? "We know what happened! We failed! Lilly got away!" To put it simply, you unfortunately had another heart attack. While not as severe as your first, you were lucky it occurred so close to a hospital. After being stabilized, you were taken to the operating room. What followed was keyhole surgery in order to insert a temporary pacemaker. "You took my heart out? You took my heart out? Oh! Oh, I'm a cyborg now!" All in all, the incident happened 2 days ago. An emergency treatment being carried out very soon after. Since then, you've been kept under close observations while you were asleep. Will I be alright? Are there any lasting problems? Compared to the procedure carried out for your first heart attack, it was relatively minor. While you will have to undergo surgery once more in a few days to remove the pacemaker, assuring that there are no complications, there should be no lasting implications. So are you going to take out my biotic heart and put the old one back in? Or are you putting in a new one? He continues talking, the subject shifting to a basically a repetition of facts about arrhythmia and my medication that I already know for the most part. I start to nod and feign interest while my mind drifts. I begin to think about how perfectly hung the inoffense painting hanging on my wall behind his shoulder is, and how neat and sterile the surroundings are, even including the doctor himself. If my mumbling bores you, you are quite welcome to say so, Mr. Nikkei. Lord knows I lose track of myself sometimes. He gives a short chuckle of his disrespecting joke as I grimace awkwardly, having been rather badly caught out. The doctor's chuckle sounds different than that of the nurse at Yamaku, though. Come to think of it, as I ponder why, I realize why the man in front of me feels just that little bit off. Why? Why? His smile is neat and sterile. He delivers his little joke peacefully, with a customary inoffense chuckle. It's like rather than talking to the man whose name is neatly printed onto the name tag placed on the lab coat, I'm merely interacting with an actor, reading off a pre-rehearsed script, every action having been choreographed beforehand. You're not real! You're not a real person! I suppose he has to be this way, though, being a doctor. He has to keep his neat and sterile smile when chatting to a girl with cancer slowly spreading through her body, well, when reassuring the woman who will surely die from childbirth, and with every other terminally and critically ill patient. That little bit of distance, that little bit of aloofness, it makes me wonder if I've ever been too harsh, especially considering it's a disposition far from being adopted only by people in his profession. After all, the one I love kept the same distance from others herself. Looking up to the doctor again, I realize I've been in thought in my head, bowed for some time, I'm sorry. I understand you must feel tired. You've been through a lot, and as I mentioned before, the anesthetic would still be affecting you. If you don't mind, I'll let you get some rest and I'll tell your parents you've woken up for you. I think that'd be good. Thank you. He gives a curt nod before picking up his clipboard and making his way to the large white door in the corner of the room, closing it behind him with a thud. In the end, I'm alone again. Lily's gone, Akira's gone, Hanako will be traveling, and even my parents have already left the hospital. 4 pale peach walls on one white ceiling and a single open window to look out towards the world outside. This is my life again. It's hard to think that the future it's hard to think of the future when the past is crowded around you, claustrophobic in its neat, sterile, starchy, bleach-smelling grip. I hate hospitals. Lost in what to do or focus on, I content myself in sleeping the time away as if this was just another dream like Yamaku had been. White. A sterile, clean white for the sterile, clean room. My eyes open and I simply stare at the ceiling for some time. It's about as interesting as the television would be, mounted on a metal rack hanging off the ceiling ahead of the bed. Indeed, the television saw its entire use during the time my parents were here, left on quietly as they waited for me to wake, but it was about as banal as it had been the first time I had ended up in the hospital. Earlier today, the attending nurse had offered to turn off the EKG's speakers and refused simply because the sound is so entirely normal to me now. It's almost comforting in a way. The metronome-like regularly gives at least some feeling that time is moving, even in a place like this. They even have music going. Woohoo! After some time of listening to its beeping while I fully awaken, though, I realize there's another sound in the room. Yeah, is it that music? Somebody have the radio going? concentrating all my efforts on listening. A task made rather easy by the lack of distractions. A tiny, tinny melody can be heard. Light and quiet, the music almost fragile as it's dwarfed by the EKG's pulses. Turn off the EKG now! I want to listen to this music! Tilting my head just slightly on the side in any effort to see the source of the melody without dislodging any of the sensors and pipes stuck in me, I notice a little wooden box sitting on the music box? The music? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? My mouth opens just slightly while I silently watch the tiny yellow metal drum slowly rotating inside. The little bumps on its surface gradually moving in and out of sight. I gave this music box to Lilly! How is it here? How is it here? The creaking of the door breaks me out of my reverie, and my head, my heart remaining still as my eyes turn to see who comes through. Long tan skirt, peach off-the-shoulder sweater, pale, almost porcelain skin. He came back! Ah! Yay! I'm happy! All I can do is stare as Lilly slowly walks into the room, her fingers lightly running over the wall for orientation, and my mind comes to a shuddering halt. Lilly? She stops mid-stride, her entire body tensing. Hishio, was that you? Of course it's me, I'm in the bed! I'm the only one in here! Her voice is quiet and pensive, echoing her expression. I thought you were... Lilly takes one tentative step forward, then another, as if she were holding herself back. Her control over her composure is for naught, though, as she finally rushes over to where I lay as the last of her resistance falls. Aww, hugging is nice. I'm slightly taken back when she grabs hold of me, hunching over as tears begin to fall from her cheeks. Since only minutes ago I thought she was on the other side of the world. After a moment of hesitation, I rest my right hand on her soft shoulder. Hishio, yeah, I'm okay. They have a biotic heart in me. Lily's body trembles as her tears blot the dark blue sheets, her emotions flooding through her carefully maintained exterior. With her face now closer, I made easier to see of her pale skin being lit by the sunlight in the window. I noticed her cheeks being redder than they should be. It's okay, Lilly. I'm okay. You don't need to... She rights herself quickly after crying, forcefully stifled with both sadness and stubbornness remaining in her moistened eyes. Her prideful nature, always having been something to contend with, takes me off guard. Stop telling me not to worry about you, Hishio. Just this once. Let me cry. I'm caught speechless. She waits for a response, but her composure breaks again after a handful of seconds. I swallow hard and try to settle my own emotions as she weeps onto my bed. A strange mixture of relief and depression welling up. Lily's here. She's really here. This ain't no hallucination in my mind. If I couldn't feel her skin under my hand, I'd hardly believe with my own eyes. My efforts weren't for nothing. My body attempt to take away everything that was important to me once again has been foiled. But now, I don't feel as happy about it as I thought I would. Seeing her here, crying like this over me, This is the one thing I wanted to avoid since coming to love her. No, ever since leaving the hospital. I'm sorry, Lilly. This is my fault I'm here. I shouldn't have tried to push myself so far. Dude, just take this in earnest. She came back for you. Let her cry for you. That's how you can show that you care. I give a disrespecting snort. After months of keeping myself together, so nobody worry for me, I went and did something like this. I guess I'm pretty dumb. With a couple of sniffs and a long breath, Lilly manages to pull herself together and calm down a little. Despite her red cheeks, moist eyes, and the lines of her tears still visible, she delicately wears that weak smile she seems to so often give. You needn't blame yourself. I heard later that it happened as you were running down the road after me, right? Still. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand, returning more to her old self as the rush of emotions wears off. Why did you run after me, Hishio? Because I finally figured it out! Holy crap, I'm running out of camera battery. This is bad. Can I plug you in? No, I can't. Dang it. Okay. So, gonna have to stop recording right now and have the camera charge. See you guys in just a few. Sorry about that, guys. We are back. I moved to respond, but noticed her face tightening. Even after I'd said goodbye, and I'd left Yamaku Academy, she takes a moment to steady herself, her emotions almost bubbling up once again. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. Sorry? For the times that I wasn't there when you needed me. Until now, I thought you were just there, that you just being there would be enough. I only needed you by my side to make any day feel better. Even if my body may be like this, in the hospital, all broken and dying. I want to help you, Lilly. To be there when you need someone. But you always were there, Hishio. Why did you want to go to Scotland, Lilly? Why? I told you before. Because Akira was going. And because my family summons to their home. Why didn't you say that you wanted to go? I'm not stubborn often, but this one time I think I need to be. I want you to stay here, Lilly. I want you to stay where everyone you know lives, and where all your dreams and ambitions were made. If you choose to stay, I'll never leave your side. I won't let you lose another person. When I had my heart attack, I was snatched away from everyone and everywhere I knew. So you showed me a new life after I came to Yamaku. I lost my past, but you showed me a future. It's true that I haven't always been there for you. I'm unreliable sometimes. Sometimes I lied, and I thought I'd come to understand you if I hadn't even understood myself. But that, as it may, I want to give you a future as well. I want to be there for you, to share both your burdens and your happiness, just like I promised back in Hokkaido. I want you to trust me. I know that I have problems coming, that I had problems coming to put my trust in you, but losing so many people I knew after my heart attack, but that's how I know that being unable to trust others can feel awful. That's why I can't watch you just throw everything away like that. Like this. I never want you to go through what I did. I would do anything to stop that. I think we finally grew up, guys. You could be quite steadfast when you want to be, can't you? Well, maybe one of my best traits, or one of my worst. As I said, it isn't often. My weak smile drops, though, as the IV in my arm digs in a little. It's a harsh reminder of the tether of my condition. Lily's face tenses as I let out a small gasp of pain, immediately making me wish I had stiffened it better. As I could do, all I can do is sigh in defeat. I try not to let anyone worry over me for the entire time ever since I left the hospital. But I can't even stop the one person I love most from crying over me. Even if I might finally be able to put my feelings into words, I feel pretty useless with my body like this. Every time I try to reach towards something, it just is snatched away. And even now, things only turn out to be better due to luck. I guess that's something else I should apologize for. All I can ever do is make you worry. Even now, there's very little chance I'll live anywhere near a full life. The feeling of Lily's warm, soft hand over my left cheek makes me lift my head up. Her smile gentle and warm as she touches me. I think that is something very natural for you to say. You were always so sincere and self-conscious. You were always reserved and mild-mannered and patient to a fault with Hanako, yet curious about everything and everyone. When I said I missed you while I was with my family, I wasn't lying or exaggerating. I thought of you was never far from my mind and helped me through that time. That's why I was so confused about what to do when my family summoned me. Even after I thought I had made my decision, I tried my hardest to challenge... You tried your hardest to challenge me about it. I didn't confess to you out of pity or believing that you were somehow different from what you are. I confessed because I never want to lose you. I want you to always be a part of my life, no matter what might change. You are a very beautiful person, Hishio. Your heart changes none of that. So please, don't apologize for yourself anymore. For a long time, silence reigns in the room. I'm not really sure what this newly born feeling inside me is, but it pales into insignificance as I wordlessly gaze in Lily's smiling face, warm and gentle as it has always been. It's only as her thumb crosses my cheek, wiping away a single drop of moisture, that I realize that it was ever what I wanted. How did she know it was there? That's the real question. For what feels like the first time, I give an earnest, wide smile. As Lily feels it against her palms, she returns the gesture. More time passes before either of us say a word, neither of us needing speech to communicate our feelings to each other. I know I can't promise you that I'll always be around, or that we'll be together forever. With some difficulty, I slowly lift my hand, placing it on her pale shoulder. But I think I can at least take you to next year's Tanabata festival to make up for making you miss this year's. Lily's expression is one of surprise, though I can't say I blame her. I got her! Yeah, we still got it. You remembered that? I've got a pretty good memory. Sometimes. She raises her head a little and takes her hand from my cheek, giving a small amused giggle. I smile absent-mindedly at how earnest it is, how girlish in its lightness. Still smiling warmly, she collects herself and stands upright with a hand resting on my chest. Don't put it there, please. You know, precious cargo in there. It feels like I'm seeing her for the first time. The sun from the window glowing behind her, just as it did when I first walked into that room when she was drinking tea. Very well then. Shall we make it a promise between the both of us to go to the next year's Tanabata together? Even if she can't see me doing so, I nod approvingly. I promise. I promise. And we promise together. To the future. It's the end. It's the end. We made it, guys. We freaking made it. Okay. Amazing. I love it. Although, I have to say, most of the feels that I felt were in the part of the story when she was actually leaving, like getting into the car and leaving. The ending where we were chasing after her, that was just like stressful, and I just wanted to know what happened. And then it just bam, hit you with like, no, you didn't make it in time, you failed. And then I thought it was just beautiful how in the end there was the music box and she came in, and how they ended it with, they just promised each other that. It just goes to show that this game, even though it has the sexy scenes or whatever, this game is all about forming relationships with people. And oh, what is this? What is it? There's more! Akira, Lilly, and I silently sit on the grassy embankment high above the local town, the breeze gently blowing through the cloudless sky. We may just be a few minutes' walk from town, on a hill outside its limits, but the view is entirely unexpected. Lilly sits beside me, her eyes closed as the gentle breeze flows through her hair. This is a nice area. Yeah, I never knew a place like this was anywhere near Yamaku. And Akira's with us too! Yay! Now we just need Hanako and we got the whole family! And I had to be the one to find it, of course. Akira's grin is genuine, and her tone is slightly different than her usual carefree nature. It's good that you're out of the hospital, though, Hishio. Nobody's more glad than I am. I can't stand hospitals. So you two going back to the school tomorrow? Yep, we both stay together. Akira chuckles in amusement before looking back out in the town below. The trees between the buildings sways in the wind. Pity we couldn't go up north for the summer holidays, or get to Tanabata. I guess we didn't make it. Oh no, wait, we said next year's. That promise still stands! I wouldn't worry. There's always next time. You'll be graduating before the next summer vacation, won't ya? Yeah. There'll still be college after that, mind. Going to the same one? Likely. We both have high enough scores to meet the entry requirements. Yeah, we're going to college together! You sound so sure. Don't worry. You're better than I in most subjects. I guess we'll work it out in due time. That's the way. Enjoy yourselves in Yamaku while you're there. Lilly gives a sad sigh at the distinction made between Akira and the two of us. Do you really need to go back to Scotland? Yeah, the folks are already out for my blood as it is. You weren't meant to stay this long. She gives her trademark wide grin. Setting my boyfriend up with a passport took some time. Oh, yeah! Yeah, she's taking a boyfriend with her, that's right. You're taking him with you? Yeah, he's baggage. He's my carry-on. Just for a while at first. He's a surprisingly worldly guy, so I think he'll do just fine. Akira gives an amused snort. If our father had his way, he'd have gone a long while ago. I'd have gone a long while ago. I just couldn't pass up an excuse to stay with my favorite little sister and a little while longer, though. She leans right and gives Lilly a tight, playful hug, cheering her up considerably. It's nice to be with you one last time, though. For what it's worth, I'm in the same boat. I'm gonna miss you, Akira! You're freaking awesome! Hey, thanks, you two. I'll try to come back sometime. Don't worry. It's a shame that the business keeps you so busy. The place wouldn't run itself, I'm afraid, and I think it's going to be the same over there. Considering that, I better get going. Have fun over there, Akira. Will do. With a slight grunt, she lifts herself with her hands and stands up, dusting herself off as she does so. Well, I better be off. The plane won't wait for me after all. They don't. Planes do not wait. She has a certain unusual wistfulness in her tone of her voice, her eyes firmly planted on her sister. I'll be okay, Akira. Yeah, I know. Come on, it isn't that bad. You'll be able to see us again soon. It is strange to have Lilly reassuring a doubting Akira for once. She really has changed. Goodbye, Akira. Bye. For a second, the dark-clad figure looks down at the both of us, smiling widely, perhaps more widely than I've ever seen her do before. She lets out a long, slightly wavering breath and steadying herself before leaving, but eventually slips her hand into her pocket and turns on her heel. And with that, she walks away, one hand held high in the air as she goes. With her trademark, "See you later, you two." A jazz tune with no beat, melody, or direction to the very end. After a few moments, I sit silently. Lilly and I pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. Turning towards her with a broad smile, I hold out my hand. Madame, shall we be off then? She takes my hand in hers with a gentle nod and a smile as beautiful and warm as ever. Indeed, we shall, Hishio. And we walk off into the sunset! As we set off towards school, that wonderful smile engraves itself onto my memory. That wonderful smile that we both share. Our pasts may be scattered and at times overshadowed by sadness, but there's also an irrevocable part of our lives and personalities. Even if I could change a single thing, I wouldn't, because my past was what led me here. That's why, even with all that's happened to us before, and all that may well befall us together, we'll keep walking forwards. Forwards towards the future. Our future. Alrighty, guys. That is the actual end. So, yeah, I basically already said everything that I wanted to when it was going through the credits, but this was a really good. This is the reason I like visual novels, is because they can draw you in, they can make you feel for characters, but I think for the time being I'm just gonna take a break from the visual novels and just step back and just play some other games. So, once again, like and favorite if you've enjoyed, subscribe, of course, If you guys made it through this entire playthrough, I applaud you. You guys are amazing with putting up with all my crap that I do with this. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have. So, I'll see you guys next time. I'm out there in YouTube land. Be a good person. Tip your waitresses. Keep moving forward, just like it says at the end of this. And thanks for watching. Bye!